Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Go ahead and let me know that you're here by saying hello while I go and hit live in all the different places. Did I hit it? Okay, beautiful. All right. And now to pull this up on my phone. Give me just a second. Right. Give me just a... All right. Whoops. Got something sitting in the way. Let me prop this up. All right. All right. I am excited to be here with you this morning. And it's it's interesting, some of the things that have been coming up for me, in the last few days with different things. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning. And like I said yesterday, the whole affirmation and journal prompt was due to me opening up an old notebook and seeing something that I had written. And it was a great reminder to me that I tell you all the time to have a special notebook and a special to put your affirmations in your journal prompt or a special journal. Well, that notebook that I pulled out, it had recipes in it. It had notes from a class I'd taken, and it had like a grocery list and all kinds of things in there. And so it was a reminder that I haven't always done that, and to make sure that I continue to do that today. One of the things that I'm going to be doing today is looking at my journals, because one of the things, and you may be like this too, I don't know, I have a whole lot of them, and each one of them has like a different purpose. So like I have the magic I witnessed today, I have thoughts and feelings for the day, and I have affirmations, all these different things. And so I've got a whole bunch of journals that are not full, and sometimes I even forget that they're there. And then I end up writing something about something else in the journal that I have. And so one of my tasks today, this afternoon, is to look at my journaling habits and see what works best for me and get more organized with it. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning. It's great to have you here. So, how is it in your neck of the woods today? It is 63 degrees outside right now. We're supposed to be having rain for the next few days. Not real heavy rain from what I understand, but still cloudy and rainy. And we had a little bit of fog this morning, but something about the fog always, I love the fog. Not for driving in, but I love having the fog. It's just this feeling that it emits in me. Cloudy. Yeah. Same here. Same here. However, without the rain, we don't have the beautiful things. Without the clouds, the thing, the drill. It's all has a purpose, and I'm grateful for all of it. Not to say I don't complain sometimes, because I do. If we have too many cloudy days and too many rainy days, then it's like, oh, enough. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the affirmation. Oh, tremendously. Carrie, I think Carrie was feeling better the other day, if I'm remembering right. Oh, man. Oh, I did this wrong. Hold on a second. Let me delete that. Jeez. Delete that. So give me just a second. I copied and pasted this completely incorrectly. All right. I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing. That's better. All right. So our affirmation for today is every day I sharpen my self awareness and reframe limiting beliefs into empowering truths that support my growth. So, why is it important to reframe? Does anybody want to share a thought on that? Do you know what I'm pretty sure you guys have been around for a while and you probably know what reframing is, but just out of curiosity, I'm getting a little chilled right now. Hold on. I learned about better perspective. Yeah, yeah. I learned about reframing years ago, and I thought that was just the most amazing tool to have in your toolbox, right? Because we all have stories that we tell. And so it's looking at, for those that don't know, it's looking at the stories that you're telling and deciding, are those things that are actually true that I wish weren't true? Or are they maybe a misconception of something that we think and it's not true at all, but it's definitely not what we want? Then it's turning it around to where you say it in a way that gives you more power and is gives you more growth from it, right? Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. And so, like, for instance, I had let me think for just a second. If someone were continuously told when they were young that they're just not smart, you're not the smart one. Betty Jo's the smart one. You're the creative one, right? And they adopt that as true for them. And they go through life constantly being reminded that they're not smart because they attract all those people that tell them they're not smart because that's their belief system, right? And they get to a certain level of growth and they decide maybe that is not true. Maybe it's totally false. Let me see how I feel about it. And so if you turn negative to positive, it rockets you forward. Yes, Wendy, yes. And so in this scenario where someone thinks that they're not smart and everything has come to them to prove that to them, and they start questioning it. One of the first things that you would do is to reframe it. Instead of I'm not smart, it's like, I don't know everything I want to know yet. I'm constantly becoming smarter as I'm learning. And so it's reframing it in a way that makes it more powerful. And then it changes the whole position, because instead of saying I'm not smart, you're saying, well, just because I don't know doesn't mean I'm not smart. It just means that maybe I haven't looked into that yet and I don't know how to do it. Because there used to be a time that I thought I couldn't do tech. And so anytime something was techie, it was like, I can't do that. And it would shut me down and I would just stop. I would either get somebody else to do it or I would just forget it completely. And I didn't like playing video games. Like if I went with a group of people and they wanted to go to this gaming place, I would walk around and watch other people have fun because I didn't know how to play the game and I didn't want to look stupid. So I would just say, oh, I don't like games. And I would just watch everybody else. And it took years of doing that for me to realize, well, the reason I don't know how to play that damn game is because I ain't never tried. So in what universe do you know the ins and out of everything before you even try it, right? And so then I started realizing that maybe I don't like playing games, but I can try it and see if I like playing games, because it doesn't matter if I know exactly how to do it. What matters is that I give it a try. So I decided to try it. I don't really care that much for them. I had rather entertain myself with something else. And that's a very different thing than saying, I don't like to play games because I don't want to feel stupid because I don't know how, right? So it's taking whatever is holding us back and reframing it to make it more powerful for us. So if you, let's see, what does this say? Oh, okay. So is there anything in your life right now that maybe is a phrase or a statement that you've made that is holding you back? Maybe it comes from when you were really young. For instance, I've shared this before that my father's mother, so my grandmother on my father's side, when my dad told her that we were excited, we went to visit her, and I was going to be leaving to go to college, and he said, Vicky's about to start college and we're going to be taking her and everything. And she looked at me and she said, I don't know why she won't finish. And there had been nothing that I had done or anything prior to that that would lead someone to say that, in my opinion. I mean, I finished high school, I did all the things, I was involved in so much stuff. I wasn't a quitter. But for whatever reason, that hurt and stuck with me, right? And so I started doing the things that she said. I started adopting that as me, that I was a person that wasn't going to finish. So what did I do? I decided to get married and didn't finish college. And then when I decided to go to art school, and my son was a baby, I was divorced, and I quit. I tried it again, quit again, went back to college, quit again. And when I went to court for my divorce, one of the things that he said was that I never finished anything. And it was true at that point because I had adopted what my grandmother said. So I wonder sometimes, of course, we're all on our journey and it's part of the process of whatever it is we need to learn, to grow, to do. But I often wonder what my mindset would have been had she said, oh, congratulations, I'm so excited for you. I'll never know, right? The thing is that I became to realize, and it's interesting because I kept that thought with me for many, many, many years, and I proved it a lot of times by joining programs and not finishing, going to a class and really loving it, but losing interest, watching a series on TV that everybody said was great, and I might watch part of the season or the whole first season and think, oh, I'm not interested now, and I would just leave it. And I had someone reframe it for me, and it was brilliant because until this person reframed it for me, I was still in that same space. So I'm sharing this information to show you that sometimes it takes somebody else looking at it for you. But what this person told me, she said, you quit things? Brilliant. Because sometimes you have to try something to discover that it's not the right path. And it was like, whoa. It had not occurred to me because I thought it meant I was a quitter because that's what my grandmother said. Right? And so I discovered by reframing that I'm not a quitter. Do I still have some programs that I've started and hadn't finished? Yeah. They're in my little place on my computer, so I can go back at any time because there's not a time limit on them. But it's like, they're not important at this point. I've gotten what I needed from it, and I move on to something else. And then when I need something else that's in that program, I'll go back. So it's not that I'm a quitter. It's not, I've gotten this gift within me now that I recognize when it's time to move on to something else. And so it's a totally different way of looking at it. One is disempowering and you're a victim, and one is empowering, right? Good morning, Stacy. Good morning. Great to have you here. So when you think about the beliefs that you have in your life and what's holding you back, how can you look at that belief and flip it on its head? Like I just shared, when I understood myself to be a quitter from what my grandmother told me, and I had all the evidence in the world that, yep, she's a quitter. She starts a whole bunch of stuff and she never finishes. And then when somebody helped me to reframe it, now it becomes, I have a gift. I have a gift that says, if this is not valuable to me at this moment, it doesn't mean it's always not valuable, but it's okay to move on to something else and put that on the back burner and say, I'll get to that again later when it's pertinent to my life. But I now have this gift of recognizing what serves me in the moment and what doesn't. And it is such an amazingly uplifting feeling that the thing I always thought for such a long time, because I was 16 years old when my grandmother said that to me. And now I'm 65. So, and it has not been that long ago that I had this reframe from this coach that I talked to, this person that I talked to. So I really invite you to look, because being self-aware, so every day I sharpen my self-awareness and reframe limiting beliefs into empowering truths that support me, right? So where can you find these different things that are maybe holding you back? So what is something that's a reoccurring theme in your life? Maybe it's that I'm not good at relationships. What if you just have this superpower to realize that's not the one, right? So where do you have those beliefs that reoccur in your life that are actually creating the victimhood in you, creating you, showing yourself that you are a victim to this idea, this thought? It's time to flip it up, baby, and change it, right? Like I said, I thought I wasn't good at tech, and it stopped me in my tracks so many times. And I discovered as I was going through Stacy's program that it wasn't that I wasn't good at tech. It's that I can learn any doggone thing I want to. And it just wasn't important for me to learn at that time, or I felt incapable. But now I know I can either get somebody else to do it for me, or I can figure it out. And actually, I have figured out so much stuff that's tech-wise that I was shocked, right? So let's see. What does this say? Whoop, whoop. Oh, doggone. Where am I at? Okay, here we go. Give me a second. Good morning, Carmen. Oh, Carrie, your divorce attorney said you were a fallen princess. So how can you make that an empowering belief? Let's look at that. What do you think? I think I would have to have a little bit more information, which you don't have to share here. I know it's probably very vulnerable, but to know what that actually meant. And then I could help you reframe it. But I'm telling you, you can turn anything that somebody said that takes your power away. And a lot of times it's things that we say to ourselves and we can reframe it to where we have the power, right? By proving to myself that I can succeed. Yes, yes. So if you want to, let's look at that. Maybe part of your superpower is that you can take something that someone has said negative about you and you can make it where that actually is the thing that propels you in to success. And so instead of somebody saying something and it bringing you down, it fuels your power to move forward in a better way. Carmen, I would immediately reframe that and take it as the power of freedom. You have fallen from the capture. Yes, I love that, Carmen. Yes. And, you know, you, what is it that, it's that you've become your own rescuer. And get rid of the lawyer. I love that, Carmen. I love that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt. That is too funny, Carmen. I love it. All right, our journal prompt is, and we've already been talking about it, what sneaky beliefs am I ready to catch and reframe today? Because they can be really sneaky. And that's where that self-awareness comes in, because when we become more self-aware of what we tell ourselves, and we're most of us are entrepreneurs, right? So one of those sneaky beliefs is that you have to be a slave to your business and work in order to be successful. But that's not an empowering belief either, right? Because you can run yourself to the bone and you can work and make money, but in that process, you lose yourself, you lose some relationships, you lose your health. There are so many things that does not serve, right? So maybe Gabriella, yes. So maybe for that, it's like I use my inspiration, my inspired actions to move forward in my business, and it serves me well every day. Right? Nothing was said about hard work, because if you're doing things from inspiration, even though other people may look at you and say, oh my gosh, they never stop. Maybe people look at you and say, they're working too hard. They're doing this, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You do, right? So when you reframe it to where I use my inspired action to move my business, then the thing that happens is that inspired action does not feel the same as that angst of I got it, right? And so it's a smoother, it's something that actually flows, and you can still do the things that you need to do for your relationships and all those things, right? Because you're allowing yourself to relax into your business, to magnetically draw business to you. And when inspiration hits, you take action, right? All right, let's see. My limiting belief is relating to my loyalty to my parents, who believe you can only make money through hard work. Yes. A lot of people have that belief. A lot of people. And I just saw a post in one of the groups I'm in where somebody posted about hard work, and that it's always hard to be successful. And just reading it felt daunting, right? And so that's a major limiting belief. As entrepreneurs, that's huge, because as long as we have that limiting belief, then it is going to be hard. It's going to be exceptionally hard. And That's the reason so many people give up. Because if I don't remember what the percentage is, but there's a hell of a lot more people give up on this journey than go and do what they said they were going to do because of that limiting belief right there. It just gets harder and harder and harder and harder. And it's one of the things that helps you tremendously, not only reframing that, but getting into the right group, getting around the right people, getting in the right room. Because when you get with people that have already done this work, are in the process of doing this work, and they know how to reframe their limiting beliefs, and they're working with calm and inspired action, right? And they're starting to make things move, and you get in the room with those people and you won't hold on to that limiting belief for long, because there'll be lots of proof that hard work is not what does it. When you think about it, who works the friggin' hardest? Ditch diggers, people that work on the streets. Now, do they make a hell of a lot of money? No, they do not. It's a menial task. And let's see, I wish I had reference to it, but there's actually I love listening to Myron Golden, and he has a YouTube channel. So if you have not watched some of his stuff, definitely watch. It's Working Smartly. Yes. Smart, not hard, right? And he talks about the different levels of compensation. So you make a certain compensation for your physical labor, but then there's ways that you go up, right? And when you get up to where it is your thoughts and your ability to transfer your thoughts and help people, way up here, right? So it may be the reason why some things feel hard is because not only is it your limiting belief, but it's the level of compensation you're at. You haven't grown enough to get to the level where it becomes easier and easier. So get in the right room. And I had a conversation with someone, that's been quite a while ago, and we were talking, and she was talking about some of the places, the groups that she was in, the mastermind she was in different things, and that she always felt like, she was helping all the people that were in there at a level that she felt in some ways like she had done all the growth and she was doing the teaching. And I said, well, if you're in a mastermind and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Because you want to be in a room where people are helping to grow. And that's why we sometimes have to change groups. We have to change the people we're around, because we become the smartest person in the room. And then we want to continue to grow and expand. And so we need to switch rooms, right? Yeah, yeah. So what sneaky beliefs are you ready to catch and reframe today? And how can you make self-awareness a fun adventure in discovering new possibilities? So now let me go back to the affirmation. So our affirmation today is every day, not just some days, not just next week, but every day, I sharpen my self-awareness skills and reframe limiting beliefs into empowering truths that support my growth. Put that on your index card, your sticky note, your screensaver of your phone, put it on a piece of paper, stick it to the fridge. I don't care where you put it, but put it somewhere that today, this is your reminder of who you are. And then you can refer back to it often, because this is something that's powerful for every single day of your life, right? Let's see, what does this say? I've said this to myself often: the smartest person in the room made the most mistakes. Yep. And that's okay, right? But if I'm the smartest one, I need to switch and go to a different room. And that's what's powerful about all these groups, is because you can get into different groups. And like when you get into groups that are a relatively big size, I mean, there's always growth in there, right? It's amazing. But just look at your life, right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because what is it, that thing they say that um, you are a reflection of the 5 people that you hang around with the most? That's what your life is. And so if you're feeling like you need something more, you want to grow, you want to change, you're wanting to change your level of growth, your level of finances, your level of spirituality, whatever it is, then it's time to adopt some new people into your life. All right, so then we're going to go to the journal prompt. And what I love to tell people, and I started out this morning talking about my journals and everything and how I'm going to get them a lot more organized. So make sure, or I suggest, let's put it that way, I suggest that you have a notebook or a journal that's specifically for our daily affirmations and journal prompts, a place that you keep them all together. Put the date at the top and the affirmation and the journal prompt, because they are made to go together. They support one another. They support you, right? And then when you've gotten them written in your journal or your notebook, then I want you to take, or I suggest you take 10 to 15 minutes to just sit in silence. And when you do that, your conscious mind is going to start talking about all kinds of things like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? Because you really need to go do this. Maybe it's hungry and you want to go and see what you're going to have for breakfast. Maybe there are a plethora of things that will go through your conscious mind, right? And that's okay. But what we want is we want to just calm it down a little bit and relax. Stop so much chatter. And the way we do that is by focusing on our breath. And if that doesn't do it, because we can focus on our breath and we're going, breathing in, breathing out. And then your conscious mind says, wait a minute. Why are you doing this? Because you've got 10 emails you've got to answer. And it's like, okay, focus back on my breath. And sometimes that helps and sometimes it doesn't. So what I suggest, and I learned this in a program that I was in, is to start focusing on some sounds around you in the room. So like if my ceiling fan was on, it would be the sound of the ceiling fan, the hum of the computer. Maybe it is an animal that's snoring or making a noise, or somebody outside doing the yards, or it could be any sounds that you hear. And by focusing on the sounds, you're quieting that conscious mind and you're getting into the moment. And if you'll just stay in the moment quietly for 10 or 15 minutes, and then open yourself up to writing down what it is that's in your mind, then it will be your God voice, your intuition, your subconscious mind will be giving you all kinds of information that you wouldn't be hearing otherwise. So it will give you some ideas of what those sneaky beliefs are, how to reframe them, and then how can you make self-awareness a fun adventure in discovering new possibilities? By doing it, right? By doing it, by being aware and catching those beliefs. As soon as something pops in your mind that makes you feel, oh, think, wait a minute, is that true? Let me see if I can reframe that to be more empowering. And it doesn't always mean that you flip it on its head and suddenly, if you, let's say this. So you had a bill that showed up and you were feeling like, oh, and you had these thoughts that came through your mind. You wouldn't turn that around and say, I'm a millionaire, because your conscious mind is going to say, whoa, no, that is not true. So you can reframe it to where it says, I'm getting better at this financial abundance every day. Right? Because just your awareness makes you better at it. And so it's taking what you have and reframing it to a place where it doesn't feel so negative to you, changing it up. And sometimes you can change it up big, sometimes you can't. And you can feel that difference. So if you change it too big, then all of a sudden it's going to feel like, but that's not true, but that's not true. So then you just lower the resistance a little bit. You change it again to where it's an empowering truth. So it's something you're beginning to do. Not that you've already done it, because sometimes your subconscious and your conscious mind will fight you tooth and nail on that one. So you can say, I'm beginning to get better and better at this. Make sense? Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Terry, I see you are on Instagram. It's so good to see you. I just looked over there. I apologize for not looking. Good to see you. So, this feels good to me to have this discussion with you guys, because we've talked about a lot today, a lot, right? So we've talked about the power of being in the right room. We've talked about when things are showing up for us to look at it and say, is that true? Or do I want it to be true? And then to reframe it. And that when we reframe it, if it feels like that is holding you back, that reframe, you go back in and you reframe it again so that it becomes an empowering reframe. And then you can no longer be a victim of anything. You have powerful, powerful statements to move yourself forward in your life. And that's how you can become even more self-aware. Make it a game. Every time something comes out, ooh, there's a new limiting belief. Let me just see, how can I reframe this one? Doesn't that sound much better than, oh my God, that's a limiting belief I got to work on? Make it fun. Make it an adventure. You get to choose how all of this feels. All right. So you guys, thank you, Carrie. Thank you. I love you guys so much. And just as a quick reminder, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern is Coach Winona, and she's going to be talking about listen to me, gut health, grow through a day of reframing limiting beliefs. Yes. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. So tonight, Tuesday, the 5th, 6 p.m. Eastern, Coach Winona on gut health. And go in and look into the events section of the group. And for those that are not part of the Stand Up and Stand Out community, because I do have this streaming out in different places, if you want to be part of a lot of the things that we're doing in here, which it's amazing, all you do is go to vickypoole.com. That's VICKIEPOOLE.com. And you'll be prompted to answer questions. And you have to answer the questions to be in the group. Right now, I have, believe it or not, I just sent messages to 15 people that are in the queue wanting to be members of the group, but they haven't answered all the questions. And so they are not admitted until they do. So I sent them a message so that they would come back and answer those questions. And I will give them a few days. And if they have not, then I just delete them out completely. Love this, Vicki. Reframe your limiting beliefs. Also love your hair. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I did it right before I got on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And then as a reminder, also in the event section is the Stand Up and Stand Out party, which is Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And in that, we actually work really well together as a group, helping everybody with their elevator pitch. We help people that maybe have like something that's coming up and they're just feeling a little angst about it. Like for instance, one of the ones that I thought was so cool was one person was wanting to talked about she was going to create a podcast, but she wasn't going to do it until January because she had so much going on. So she talked about what she wanted the podcast to be about. And collectively, we all helped to name the podcast for her, and she loved it. And then I challenged her. I said, okay, so you're not going to wait till January to say you're a podcaster because it's got a name, you've got the whole concept down, and it's amazing. And so I challenge you to introduce yourself to somebody, tell somebody that you're a podcaster. And it doesn't matter that you don't have an episode yet because you have the idea, you have the title. It is, you are a podcaster. And she sent me a message later and told me that she had done that and how great it felt. And so, see, it doesn't have to be that you have this big business and you're wanting to navigate your elevator pitch. That's brilliant. And we love doing that. But that's not all it's about. So if there's something you want to bring to the table that you would like to have a room full of people that want to support you to help you with it, stand up and stand out, right? So, like I said, that is Thursday, the 7th. So this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And so I would love to have you there. And there are people that come that only come to support others and to give their ideas and inspirations. So it is amazing to witness. Some people don't come on camera. That's okay. Some people do. It's whatever level you feel comfortable with. But if you're a person that wants to hear what's going on and be supportive of others, be there, right? So what does this say? That's next for me. Can you help me with that in your group? The podcast, or are you talking about the elevator pitch? All right. And so let's see. And then Lois is going to be here on Thursday, the 14th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And she is a person that is, she is all about how to become magnetic to the relationship you want. And how, if you're in a relationship, how to make that relationship more magnetic so that things flow brilliantly, like, right? And so I can't wait to see what all she has to say, because I am one of those people right now that I am single. I've been single for a very long time, and I've become so comfortable with single and so comfortable with my own space that it feels almost like an imposition to have a relationship. It almost feels like, oh, where would I find time for that? Because I want to still do my thing, right? And I hate to admit how long I've been single. Let's see. Gary died when Haley was 7, and she is 30. So what, 23 years? That's how long. Now I've had relationships in that period of time, but obviously nothing that stuck, because here I am, I'm still single, right? And I think some of it is there's this feeling of, what if it's not the right person? And that's what I feel. And if it's not making my life better, why bother, right? Yes, that's right, Wendy. That's because I haven't met the right person. So one of the things that she does is she helps you be magnetic for that right person, right? And I do a lot of the mindset work and everything. So I'm sure there's a mindset shift in there about this whole thing that needs to happen if I'm going to have a relationship. And, and I am still open to the fact that I don't have to have a relationship. I'm perfectly happy with my life as it is. So there's no angst there about, oh, and I used to be that person where it was like, oh, I've got to have somebody, but I don't. But in some ways, that is beautiful because that means that when I do connect with someone, it's just because it's a person that will enhance my life and I'll enhance theirs. There's not a need for them to fill me up or a need to be rescued or any of that stuff, right? So, anyway, I am inviting you to go into the events section and sign up for any of these things that interest you. And if you want to come to all of them, come to all of them, right? Vicki, I'm in the same boat as you. I've been single for 7 years and getting so comfortable with myself and being able to do so much without a partner that I second guess dating. Yeah. So definitely come on Thursday. What did I say it was? The 14th. So not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. And ask her questions and just be part of the conversation. Heck, it might be good to have you in there talking too, because I'm going to be asking her a lot of questions too. So join in, join in, join in. Okay. And Terry, if you're still there, I know you're single, and I don't know how you feel about that anymore, but definitely join in on next Thursday if you can into the group and let's have a conversation. Okay, okay. So let me get back to Wendy always gives me such a great thing to say for the end of the meeting, right? The end of the call, whatever the heck we call it, the chat. All right. So I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. So between now and then, keep growing through a day of reframing your limiting beliefs. It's going to be fun if you allow it to be. Mwah.